Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, March 22, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather's been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go out to the next 168 hours, that's the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents inches of a rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. As we head into Sunday morning, what do we see? We see some greens right here to the west of us affecting portions of Honduras. We also see some greens right here to the north of us affecting the waters to the north of Portland, St. Mary. We know the greens represent rainfall, so there could be some rainfall out to sea. And then by afternoon, we see some of that rainfall coming on shore across sections of mainly central and western parishes. Let's see if the GFS is showing something similar for the same time period. Sunday morning, rainfall to the west of us, also affecting Honduras, the waters to the north of us. And then on Sunday afternoon, we see that rainfall mainly across western parishes and inland areas of some central parishes. Let's see what's going to be taking place on Monday. As we head into Monday morning, we see rainfall to the north of us. Let's see what's going to be taking place on Monday afternoon. We see rainfall mainly across sections of some northern and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Monday morning, rainfall to the west of us, to the north of us. Monday afternoon, rainfall more so across the northwestern end of the island, maybe Hanover, St. James. That's what's going to be taking place on Tuesday. On Tuesday morning, 12:00, which is actually 7 a.m., we see rainfall to the south of us. We see rainfall also affecting eastern Jamaica. And then by Tuesday afternoon, we see that rainfall more widespread across eastern, central, and western parishes. And if we take a look at the GFS for the same time period, Tuesday morning, not so much rainfall like what we saw on the Euro, but we see that rainfall to the north of us, we see that rainfall to the far southwest of us. Then by Tuesday afternoon, we see some rainfall to the southwest of us as well as the inland areas of some central parishes. Let's see what's going to be taking place on Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning shows rainfall affecting eastern parishes, the waters to our west. Wednesday afternoon shows some isolated showers across the southern portion of the island. We'll see what that actually plays out. On the GFS, is more so the waters to our southwest that's getting in on that morning rainfall. Then Wednesday afternoon, we see that rainfall across south, central, and western Jamaica. Very interesting. Even more rainfall than what the Euro was showing. Let's see what Thursday morning has in store for us. We see some dots of greens across the northern edge of the island, so maybe some coastal areas getting some morning rainfall on Thursday according to the Euro. The afternoon on Thursday shows rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show for the same time period? Not much of anything on Thursday morning, more whites than anything else that represented to no rainfall. Thursday afternoon has the rainfall more so across central and eastern parishes. Let's see what Friday has in store for us. Friday morning has rainfall affecting eastern Jamaica as well as northern Jamaica. And Friday afternoon has rainfall still affecting northern Jamaica and eastern Jamaica on the Euro. What does the GFS show for Friday morning? The GFS shows rainfall affecting northeastern Jamaica on Friday morning. Then eastern, central, and western parishes on Friday afternoon. Finally, we're looking at Saturday. And this is the end of the 168 hours, and this is valid for 7 a.m. on Saturday, March 29. And we see the rainfall affecting the north coast. That's it right there, 7 a.m. on Saturday. The GFS is showing that 7 a.m. on Saturday has rainfall across the northern portion of the island. And then at the end of the 168 hours, we see that rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. So it seems like it's going to be getting even wetter as we progress towards next weekend. So Friday into Saturday, very interesting. And what's also interesting is this system right here to the north of the Eastern Caribbean that we see on the GFS. Definitely looking trophy in a way, lots of moisture, deep convection as well in the yellows, oranges, and reds. But we don't see it as robust on the Euro. We see some moisture up there to the southeast of Bermuda, but it's not as robust as what the GFS is showing. It's going to be interesting to see how all of that plays out. Let us take a look at the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps from the year and the GFS, showing all the rainfall that's expected to pile up from now all the way until Saturday, March 29. And we know the rainfall is represented by what we see on the key on the right. We're talking about the greens into the yellows, the oranges, the reds. That represents anywhere from 0.1 of an inch of rainfall all the way up to an inch of rainfall. Well, we know the most in the way for rainfall is represented by the dark reds into the purples and the pinks. That we know is representing 2 to 5 inches of rainfall. And we can clearly see that the most in the way for rainfall over the next 7 days should be plaguing portions of Costa Rica, Panama, sections of Colombia right here. Let's see if the GFS has the same solution. Definitely so. GFS even incorporating portions of eastern Honduras in the dark reds and the purples, southeastern Belize, sections of eastern Cuba, the waters to the north of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, even northern portion of the Dominican Republic getting an abundance of rainfall. Very interesting forecast indeed. The Euro has more so northern portion of Hispaniola getting on those slight purples. We'll see it actually plays out. And regarding the other areas that are going to be getting anywhere from 0.1 all the way up to an inch of rainfall, we're referring to areas such as western Venezuela, southern Venezuela, eastern Venezuela, northern Venezuela, the ABC Islands, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, Montserrat, also St. Kitts and Nevis, Martinique, the US and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Haiti and the Dominican Republic, Cuba, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Florida, the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, and even Guatemala and El Salvador. And we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with this forecast. I know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances for the rainfall to take place are higher. And regarding Jamaica's total accumulated precipitation forecast map, showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Saturday, March 29, we can clearly see the blues into the greens, into the yellows, into the slight oranges. That represents anywhere from a millimeter of rainfall all the way up to 65 millimeters of rainfall right there off the coast of Portland. That's what the Euro is showing. The GFS is more reserved, just going up to at least 51 millimeters of rainfall. And we see rainfall as well across portions of central and western parishes. It's going to be interesting to see how all of this plays out, and we know that most of this rainfall is going to be plaguing more so northeastern parishes in the morning and central and western parishes during the afternoon. And whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs, especially on our other social media platforms. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see a ridge of high pressure right here across Florida, the waters to the north of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico. We see another ridge of high pressure right here close to the Azores Islands over here. And we know these ridges of high pressure are responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. We can see broken orange lines right here associated with the trough, extending from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down to portion of Puerto Rico and the Leeward Islands. And we see the blue spike line right here associated with the frontal system, extending from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down to portion of Cuba and the Bahamas. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Caribbean before we lost the sunlight, let's see if we can get it reloaded. Seems to have glitched out. Yeah, okay, here we go. So we can definitely make out the clouds associated with the trough extending into portions of the northeastern Caribbean, Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands. Some of these clouds even seeping into portions of the Dominican Republic. And we can see the clouds associated with the frontal system extending into portions of the Bahamas as well. And we can also see the low to mid-level flow of the clouds being steered from east-west, all courtesy of the ridges of high pressure to the north. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Saturday, March 22, 2025. It was stated that rainfall would have been in the forecast of parts of eastern, central, and western parishes during Saturday afternoon. Now we know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. While central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? At around 3:15 p.m., the visible satellite images were posted not only here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, but they were also posted on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can see the clouds extending from the eastern end to the western end all across the island. It was definitely affecting portions of Portland, St. Anne, and St. Mary even more than anywhere else, but we can make out some of these clouds also across sections of St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover. But not everywhere might have gotten in on rainfall, but maybe some partly cloudy skies at most, if not overcast skies. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the island before we lost the sunlight, we can make out the flow of the clouds pushing in from east to west. Definitely had some clouds across sections of St. Elizabeth. Definitely brought some isolated showers to Black River for sure. Even the waters near and around Westmoreland getting in on some of the isolated shower activity. And the infrared close-up satellite imagery is confirming some rainfall out there too. We can see the blues represents the low end of the scale in terms of convection. So there's definitely some rainfall right here, maybe affecting the waters to the south of Negril, if not Negril as we speak. And we can see what was taking place on the flat bridge camera right here from See Jamaica's YouTube channel. Not much of anything in terms of rainfall, but definitely overcast. We can see people in their vehicles going about their business. You can see that the rear cobra definitely chilling, not in spate at all, to show that we're not receiving much in the way of rainfall these days. But that's basically it. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica's YouTube channel. They have these live streams for your viewing pleasure, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. They also have Halfway Tree, Crossroads, and even the panoramic city view. So subscribe if you'd like to see more of that. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint quite the picture of where we might have had that rainfall today. Definitely across eastern, central, and western parishes. As stated, sections of Portland, St. Mary, and St. Anne might have gotten in on the rainfall from the morning hours spilling into the afternoon, and that was what was taking place. And we have a few comments here from some of our followers confirming what the weather was like in their area. We have Kemi GTV 8131 stating little rainfall. Our village today, Spain side. Thanks for confirming, Kemi G. Even on our Instagram page, we had Cads Bark confirming what the weather was like in her area. One drop of rain in Maypen and nothing more. Thanks for confirming. At least you got something. I didn't get anything in my part of St. Thomas at all. We have one_states_king_ stating rain is on and off in the St. Mary division and mostly partly cloudy right now. _pink east or pink ice stating place dry and hot in Asante. Alright, thank you guys for confirming what the weather is like in your area. Let's reload the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. Let's see what's happening right now. Alright, so the latest still image is showing 0035 UTC, which is actually 7:35 p.m. So this just came out 5:10 about 13 minutes ago, considering that it's 7:48 p.m. right now. And we can see some clouds still affecting the waters to the south of Westmoreland, to the west of St. Elizabeth. Right here, some of these clouds even onshore across section of Westmoreland as we speak. Maybe we might be having some isolated showers over there. Unfortunately, we don't have the latest Cuban Doppler radar imagery to show because it glitched out today at around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 5:30 p.m. Jamaica time. And at that time, we were making out some rainfall in the greens, some slightly moderate rainfall to the northeast of Portland. We were also making out some rainfall right here to the south of Westmoreland, as well as affecting the western St. Elizabeth coast too. But the Guantanamo Bay Cuban naval radar imagery not really showing much of anything right now. Let's reload this so that we have the very latest. We see nothing affecting eastern Cuba, nothing affecting northeastern Jamaica. We see some what looks like rainfall across the western peninsula of Haiti. Not sure if that's actually ground clutter or rainfall. We can also see the rainfall that might have been affecting the waters to the northeast of Portland too. Or is that a glitch? Taking a look at the Cayman radar. Let's reload this so that we have the very latest to show as well. Alright, so the Cayman radar not showing much of anything across southern Cuba or the Cayman Islands, but we can make out some rain bands right here affecting sections of Negril, if not the waters to the southwest of there. So just like what we saw on the infrared earlier, definitely gotten on some amount of rainfall or convection right there. Taking a look at what's happening right now, according to the Halfway Tree live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, we can see people walking about, going about their business. Definitely going to be a dry evening for sure in the corporate area. Taking a look, hold on, I think that was the 727 camera. Let's update it to the live camera. Here we go. So we can see people in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing drastic in terms of bad weather taking place, and that should be the order of the evening into the night, even into early tomorrow morning. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, are where they should be as the evening progresses. We're expecting 24 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on 4 a.m. on, I guess we should get into Sunday. So reload this, trying to find Sunday. Alright, so 4 a.m. on Sunday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. This map from the GFS is valid for 18th on Sunday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Sunday, and we can see Jamaica embedded in some yellows and some slight oranges. That represents up to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperature for the month of March across the island of Jamaica is around 87.3 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius, that's around 30.7 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30.7 to 32.7 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on a Sunday. And we have at least one maintenance outage advisor here from my JPS Online's Twitter page to highlight. And we know that we have to highlight these because we know that when we have power outages, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Sunday, March 22, 2025. Right? Nope. Today is March 22, so I guess they made an error. If this is actually for Sunday or is it actually for Saturday? Either way, it states here Peter Pan Avenue as well as Brandon Hill in St. James from 9 a.m. to 6 a.m. So tomorrow is the 23rd of March. We'll see it actually plays out. Let me know if you live in those areas, if you actually get the power outage for real. Either way, we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of drinking lots of water throughout the day. Even if you're not thirsty, always stay hydrated. And I suggest that you put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. And we can see the abundance of dry air across the entire Atlantic basin. We know the dry air is responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable, making it harder for it to rain in the dry season, making it harder for us to get storm systems, tropical storms, hurricanes in the dry season for sure. We can see some slight yellows within some of these oranges that represents the low end of the scale in terms of dry air, which explains why we've been experiencing some isolated showers here and there across the basin. But what we want to see is the blues represent the moist air, like what we see across the eastern Pacific and the intertropical convergence zone. The more rainfall we get, the better. It's better to have rainfall than none at all to keep the water in our pipes. Taking a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 1 p.m. on Sunday, 18 UTC's 1 p.m. on Sunday, we can see the slight browns represent the Saharan dust, extending from the eastern main development region across the southern main development region into portion of northern South America right here. And it's the low end of the scale in terms of the Saharan dust. We're talking about 1, 3, 10. That represents the low end of the scale as we see here by the key on the bottom. What we don't want to see is those dark browns that represent anywhere from 25 all the way up to 1,000 that we see across Africa and portions of Europe that we know can cause very hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some person. So we're glad that there's no wicked ridge of high pressure across the basin right now, sending those strong winds off of Africa into the Caribbean as we speak. But we know that it's only a matter of time before June, May, July gets here and all of that is going to be taking place. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, the seas are definitely going to be choppy across the Caribbean. Look at all of the dark blues, purples into the pinks, into the burgundies. That represents anywhere from 2 all the way up to maybe even 3 meter wave heights. While it's the Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico into the northwestern Caribbean that's going to be getting on those light shades of blues, dark shades of blues. That represents anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave height. The north coast tomorrow up to 1.5 meter wave height, south coast 2.4 meter wave heights, very high wave heights. And it makes sense because of the winds that are expected. We can clearly see more of an easterly flow all the way from the eastern Caribbean to the western Caribbean, curving more east-southeasterly across the western Caribbean, curving more southeasterly to northwesterly across the Gulf. And we see the greens into the yellows that represents anywhere from 15 to 20 to 25 knots for sure. On Jamaica's north coast tomorrow, winds should be coming in from the east averaging 60 knots, south coast coming in from the east averaging 90 knots. And we see where the air is going to be piling up across inland areas of some central parishes as well as some western parishes. So that's where we could have the clouds building, bring us some isolated afternoon rainfall for sure. And if we actually get some convection, the cloud tops would be blown off towards the east by that upper level wind shear. And if we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 5 a.m. Jamaica time. And we can make out some blues represent some isolated shores across the waters to our north, as well as maybe affecting sections of Portland, who knows, maybe even say it near in the early morning hours. We'll see it actually plays out. Then by 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time, we see the blues represent rainfall on the Euro across eastern, central, and western parishes. On the GFS, it's more so central and western parishes. So we're working with the consensus for a section of central and western parishes getting some afternoon rainfall on Sunday. So if you live in maybe Hanover, Westmoreland, St. James, maybe southern Trelawney, southern St. Anne, northern Clarendon, northern Manchester, northern St. Elizabeth, look out for some possible isolated afternoon rainfall. Even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps from the Euro and the GFS showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Sunday, showing that it's going to be raining somewhere in Jamaica within the next 24 hours. Euro going up into the greens and yellows that represents up to maybe 0.3 of an inch of rainfall. GFS more so across the western end with the 0.21 of an inch of rainfall. We'll see it actually plays out, and whatever happens, we'll definitely take it. because we're in the month of March. We're in the peak of our dry season. In Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive up to 10 millimeters of rainfall for the month of March. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive up to 2.2 inches of rainfall for the month of March. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of March or for the entire year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. You know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the calculations yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some clouds associated with the trough, bringing some isolated shores to sections of the northern and northeastern Caribbean, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda. Well, the US and British Virgin Islands. Some moisture associated with another trough, slamming into portion of Honduras as we speak. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar imagery of the northeastern Caribbean, let's see what's happening right now. We see some rain bands across the northern coastline of Puerto Rico. And if we load these images from earlier today, you can see that section of eastern, central, and western Puerto Rico are definitely getting in on some moderate to some slightly heavy rainfall. Taking a look at the Barbados radar, maybe some isolated sprinkles coming in from the east, especially passing to the south of Barbados. We see a string of moisture passing to the south of St. Vincent into the Grenadine Islands as we speak. Moderate to some slightly heavy rainfall for sure. Not seeing much of anything into Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, or St. Lucia, or Grenada for that matter. And if we take a look at the weather view of Doppler radar images, don't make out anything across Trinidad and Tobago either, but we do see some isolated shores coming into sections of Guyana as we speak. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps from the year and the GFS are adamant that we could get on some isolated shores across section of the Bahamas, section of the US and British Virgin Islands associated with the lingering trough, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, southeastern Cuba, the waters to the north of Jamaica, especially western Jamaica. We also see some moisture into portion of the eastern Yucatan, eastern Belize, northeastern Honduras, eastern Nicaragua, sections of eastern Costa Rica, northern Panama, eastern Panama, Colombia. That's where the brunt of the rainfall will be, as we can see the reds. And we also see some rainfall in store for western Venezuela, sections of Guadeloupe, Dominica, sections of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, getting in on some of the action too. Maybe some isolated shores as far as Guyana, Suriname and French Guiana as well. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.